Kyler Murray is heading to the Minnesota Vikings and many, many more to discuss. Let's get into it right now. Welcome, everybody, to Top Dog coverage. And if you haven't heard, you have now heard that Kyler Murray is heading his path over to Minnesota, which we were on Kyler Watch. C-Dub, that's your main man. That's your boy over there. What do you think of the newest selection of the Vikings quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, he's talked about him growing up as a Vikings fan, even though he's from the state of Texas. That's because the Cowboys were never good during him growing up, which I can attest to as well.
All right.
But, I think it's a great fit for him. I think Kevin O'Connell is going to be able to scheme him up, and I think he's going to be a great fit in that system. So I think it's going to be a big elevation for Minnesota, and now, McCarthy can sit and learn, and we can figure out what's going to go on with him. But I think it's a great fit for both Kyler and the Vikings.
Yeah, it could definitely bring a little spark over there, and I think it could definitely help a young quarterback still help reach his potential with a quarterback head coach, a quarterback offensive coordinator. I think that's the best situation that he could have gone to is offensive-minded coaches, with both of them being past NFL quarterbacks. So, you're going to get the best of the best over there. I really do believe so.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have some help too, because I don't think he ever had a good defense when he was in Arizona, ever. All right.
No,
Yeah, he had some weapons, but like at the end of the day, defense, you got to be able to help out the offense, right? And you got Brian Flores that's able to scheme up defense with the best of them. So I think it's going to be more of an ultimate team for him, or a complete team, rather.
Yeah, we thought at one time that Arizona's defense was going to kick in last year, because at the end of the previous year, they started to really bolster that defensive line. They were getting pressure on the quarterback. The defense was actually looking good at one point. We thought that it was going to carry over to 2025, and it just didn't happen. So you're leaving the offense with nothing, or just the offense scrounging around for points, trying to make plays when the defense is just not getting the ball back. That is basically a pain in the butt for any type of team. So now he's got Brian Flores over there calling his crazy blitz schemes, which I think everybody's had fun watching Brian Flores anywhere he's gone. So, but with that, let's just jump right into the free agency bag. What do you say, dude?
Yeah, we got a couple days to recap, so let's get to it.
Cut it off short, but that's okay. Usually fades in technical difficulties as we had, but the free agency list is brought to you by Norse-Hall.com. If you guys want to go to Norse-Hall.com. They have hot sauce and mead based out of West Virginia, and they just got a lot of good stuff. I got to see them the past couple days too. So look, they made their building even bigger, another 95 feet longer. So happy about that. So shout out to Norse-Hall.com. Go get your hot sauce and your mead. I'm going to start things off. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to start with the AFC East, as I would do, because I'm greedy. But I believe where we left off was the Connor McGovern, or the 4-year, $52 million signed, $32 million guaranteed. But the Buffalo Bills also added edge Bradley Chubb, signed a 3-year deal, $43.5 million with $29 million guaranteed. I think that was big coming over from Miami. They also signed cornerback D. Alford for a 3-year deal, Sam Franklin, safety, as a 3-year deal, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson signed a 1-year deal for $6 million. Tyler Bass, the kicker, actually 1 year, 1 million guaranteed with a maximum value of 3.5 million. And the punter, Mitch Wishnowsky, which is re-signed a 1 year deal. So you're starting to see that defense kind of come together a little bit more. I think that they needed some revamps there. Not sure how it's going to go, but we'll see what the Bills are looking like, and like this is where everything just kind of calms down a little bit here and there. So we'll see exactly where that lands. But according to Miami, we're going to go over to Miami. Miami made a lot more signings here. So wide receiver Tutu Atwell signed a 1 year contract. Greg Dulcich re-signed 1 year, $3.25 million, 2.91 guaranteed. Ben Sims, the tight end, signed a 1 year deal. Jamari Salyer, offensive tackle, signed a free agent deal. Edge Josh Uche signed a 1 year deal. And all of these gentlemen re-signed with the Dolphins, including Matthew Butler, defensive tackle, linebacker Willie Gay Jr., Marco Wilson, the corner, safety Zane Anderson, Lonnie Johnson, the defensive back, and Zane Gonzalez, the kicker, signed a 1 year deal, along with Riley Patterson, the kicker, is re-signing with the Dolphins. So that's going to be a little bit of a kicking aspect over there. They're going to have a little competition. But we'll head over to New England, where New England signed Elijah Vera Tucker, the offensive guard from the Jets, signed a 3 year, $42 million deal with the $21 million guarantee. They also signed fullback Reggie Gilliam. I think we went over this. 3 years, $12 million, $6 million fully guaranteed. Gilliam earned $4.4 million for 1 year. Romeo Dobbs signed a 4 year, $70 million contract. Tight end Julian Hill signed with the Patriots, and Draymond Jones, defensive line, 3 year, $39.5 million. We'll pay him $14.5 million in 1 year. And Kevin Byard, the safety, 1 year, $9 million. And we'll go over to the Jets, where Geno Smith was acquired in a trade with the Las Vegas Raiders, along with the 2026 seventh round pick in exchange for a 2026 sixth round selection. And I want to go through Andrew Beck re-signed, Jelani Woods re-signed. Offensive guard Dylan Parham signed a 2 year contract worth up to $20 million. We needed that guard spot when Elijah Vera Tucker left. Max Mitchell re-signed, offensive tackle, right tackle there. Kingsley and Gabari signed a 1 year, $10 million. And I'm trying to find somebody that we did not discuss here. Linebacker McCall Walker re-signed with the Jets. Cornerback Nashawn Wright signed a 1 year deal up to $5.5 million. Actually, I did like that signing. And then safety Dane Belton from the Giants signed a 1 year, $4 million deal that has a max value of $6 million. And today, another safety, Andre Cisco, signing a 1 year, $5.25 million contract. And Cade York, the kicker, signed with the Jets. So that's kind of the updated for the AFC East. Not too bad, but a run through, just a little run through.
Yeah, how does it feel that you lost both your guards? You lost John Simpson to the Ravens as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I sweet and sour, bittersweet. I like his competitiveness. I like his toughness. On the other hand, he committed a lot of penalties. I wasn't happy with that. Sometimes the play was over, it was third down. Or it was, we would get a first down or something, and it was like 3rd and 10, and then all of a sudden you look at him and he's over there punching somebody on the ground, and it's like, dude, we don't need this. He's just.
Are we talking about Simpson or AVT?
Simpson.
Okay.
He had to be on the field in order for that to happen. So that's the problem, but well deserved. If AVT can find a place, I'm very unhappy that it's the Patriots. It is what it is. I give him all the luck in the world. I hope he stays healthy. He's a hell of a guard. He's a mauler when he's out there. So, look, if he's healthy over there, they're going to have a great offensive line. So,
yeah. All right. I was just curious about those two specifically.
Before that,
okay,
we're going to give Pats a shout out. So he wants a shout out. Pats, you get a shout out from Top Dog Coverage to you.
P-Bone.
And Britt John. You also get a shout out, okay?
So B-Bone.
B-Bone. There you go. You guys get it.
Out to the people.
Yeah, lots of love to you guys. What was it?
Yeah, appreciate y'all being here.
There it is. That's the C-Dub love right there. That's what I like to call it. So
That's it. All right. You ready to hit some North, AFC North?
Let's do it, baby.
All right, the Ravens. So they not only backed out of the Max Crosby deal, which was absolutely insane, had a little buyer's remorse and said, you know what, I'm good. I'm gonna screw any future deals that I want to do. We're screwing that over, and we're gonna screw over the Raiders too. So not only did they rescind the Max Crosby trade, they signed Trey Hendrickson on a 4-year, $112 million deal with $60 million fully guaranteed and a maximum value of $120 million, according to Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. So this deal of them giving Crosby back and signing Trey Hendrickson is the epitome of that meme with the dude who's holding the chick's hand and looking back. Right?
Yeah, it is. This
is it. The Ravens are holding Crosby's hand and they're looking at Trey Hendrickson right behind him. So
they definitely were.
Tough beat for the Ravens. Sorry, Nick. But yeah, that's shiesty. The shiesty business, man. But on top of that, they also signed cornerback Chidobe Awuzie on a 1-year fully guaranteed $5 million contract, according to Mike Garafolo. And then safety Jalen Hawkins signed a free agent deal, according to the team. Then we're going to go over to Cincinnati, where Orlando Brown Jr., the offensive tackle, signed a 2-year contract extension that keeps him under contract through 2028, according to the team. Dalton Reisner re-signed on a 1-year deal, according to the team. Defensive lineman Jonathan Allen signed a 2-year, $26 million deal that has a max value of $28 million with incentives, according to Tom Pelissero. And cornerback Jalen Davis re-signed on a 1-year deal, according to the team. And then the Cleveland Browns, looks like we have 3 moves that just happened with them since our last visit. Elton Jenkins, the former Packer, signed a 2-year, $24 million deal with $20 million guaranteed, according to Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Cam Wolfe. And linebacker Quincy Williams signed a 2-year, $13 million deal with $9 million fully guaranteed, according to Tom Pelissero. And then Corey Bohorquez.
I had trouble with that one too when I was reading it.
Corey B re-signed with the team. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, they signed a couple more players. I believe we covered the Rico Dowdle, where he signed on a 2-year, $12.25 million contract, according to Tom Pelissero. Cam Hayward got a new 2-year, $32.25 million contract with $16.25 million fully guaranteed. And the extension keeps him under contract through 2027, according to Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo. And then defensive lineman Azizi Otomewo re-signed on a 1-year deal, according to Tom Pelissero. And then we have Jaquan Brisker signed a 1-year, $5.5 million deal, according to Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo, as well as Darnell Savage signed a 1-year deal, according to Tom Pelissero. And that's what we got going on in the North.
Nice. We will take it down to the AFC South, where I think we went over David Montgomery, right? We talked about that. Yep. Foster Moreau. I don't know if we talked about the extension.
We didn't cover Foster Moreau.
No. So Foster Moreau, tight end, signing with the Texans, and Dalton Schultz signed a 1-year extension with worth up to $12.6 million. We discussed their offensive tackles, Trent Brown, Braden Smith. Offensive guard Ed Ingram, 3-year, $37.5 million, $23.5 million in guarantees. We went over Daniel Hunter, the edge, signing that 1-year deal. Big. Logan Hall signed a 2-year contract, $7 million. Dominique Robinson signed a free agent contract, defensive end. Naquan Jones, the defensive lineman, 1-year, $2 million. Sheldon Rankins re-signed a 2-year contract, includes $12 million guaranteed. And EJ Speed, linebacker, re-signed a 2-year, $10 million with a maximum value of $13 million. Reed Blankenship, the safety, signed on a 3-year, $24.75 million deal with $16.5 million guaranteed. And safety MJ Stewart re-signed with the Texans. So Kiami Fairbairn, the kicker, signed a 2-year deal, $13 million extension, making him the highest paid kicker in the NFL. And punter Kay Kroger, for now. Kay Kroger acquired a trade with the New Orleans Saints, your favorite over there, along with a 2028 7th-round pick in exchange for a 2028 6th-round pick, according to Ian Rappaport. So Not too shabby.
That's where we talked about how the Saints fleeced the Texans because we signed a
Yeah.
punter first day of free agency, and then we traded the punter that was the worst punter in the league last year for a pick swap, basically. So, dub.
Word. I'm going to head over to the Indianapolis Colts. Now, we did talk about Daniel Jones getting tagged here, but we did not talk about him being re-signed at a 2-year, $88 million that could be worth up to $100 million with incentives and includes more than $60 million guaranteed, $50 million in year one. Jones originally received the transition tag from the Colts. Alec Pierce re-signed, got the 4-year, $114 million contract, maximum value of $116. That includes $84 million in guarantees with $60 million fully guaranteed at signing. I think we did talk about that. Wide receiver Laquan Treadwell re-signed a new deal. Edge Michael Clemens signed a free agent deal. Arden Key signed a 2-year worth up to $20 million with $11 million guaranteed. Defensive tackles Derek Nottie signed with the Colts, and Colby Wooden acquired in a play with Green Bay trade with the Green Bay Packers in exchange for Zaire Franklin. We went over that. Jonathan Owen signed a 1-year deal, the safety, and Blake Groupie, the kicker, resigned a 1-year deal worth up to $1.4 million, according to Mike Garofalo. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars. DJ Dallas signed a free agent deal. Chris Rodriguez Jr. signed a 2-year, $10 million deal, includes $6.2 million, and has a max value of $12 million. Quentin Morris re-signed a free agent deal. Edge Dennis Gardeck re-signed a free agent deal. Defensive lineman Matt Dickerson re-signed a free agent deal, and Monteric Brown, a corner, re-signed on a 3-year, $33 million contract. So they pass it around a little bit. They did need some running back help over there. But the big swingers over here, I will say it. Tennessee Titans. We went over Wandale Trubisky. They got Daniel Bellinger is back reunited with the Dable. Tight end Kylan Granson signed a 1-year deal. Offensive guard Cordell Volson signed a 1-year, $2.5 million deal worth up to $4.215. We talked about Schlotman, the center, being signed over there. Jermaine Johnson was traded over there. Jordan Elliott signed with the Titans, the defensive lineman, and we talked about JFM coming for the Broncos. Malik Herring, we talked about. Solomon Thomas acquired in a trade with the Tennessee Titans for
the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys, yeah, it doesn't say that on here. With a 7th-round pick. That's one of Salah's guys. Cordell Flott, we talked about, and Alante Taylor, we also talked about, I believe. So I think that Tommy Townsend, the punter, Morgan Cox, we talked about, and Joey Sly, we signed on a 1-year deal. So I think Joshua Williams, that's the only person we didn't, I believe. Cornerback signed a 2-year deal. So they were very busy. I will say that. Titans are getting after it. They're extremely busy during this time.
Free agency.
Yeah, 100%. They're getting the guys that they want. So,
hey man, for being quote unquote considered a bust, Laquan Treadwell has been in the league for like ever.
I'm starting to see that. Yeah,
he's been in the league for like 10 years or so. Like, how crazy is that?
That is pretty wild.
And everyone thought he was a bust, and like he didn't he doesn't play a lot, but he's still getting NFL contracts, which is just pretty crazy to me. But shout out to Treadwell for getting the bag.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I guess you want to go to the West, AFC West now?
Yeah, we can.
You want to start? Let's start with the Broncos, who have not signed an outside free agent so far. They're the only team to not sign an outside free agent. That's
pretty wild. That's a very good. That's a good look right there.
Thanks. I try to do the research sometimes, but the Broncos, the only news that we need to update is running back Jaleel McLaughlin re-signed on a 1-year deal, according to Ian Rapport, and receiver Little Jordan Humphrey re-signed with the Broncos, according to Tom Pelissero. I believe we covered everything else. Fullback Adam Prentice re-signed to a free agent deal, according to the team. So we're going to skip down to the Kansas City Chiefs, where they re-signed Tyquan Thornton on a 2-year, $11 million deal with a maximum value of $14 million, according to Mike Garafolo. Then Kader Kohu, the corner, former Miami Dolphins, signed a free agent contract, according to the team. Safety Alohi Gilman signed a 3-year, $24.75 million deal that includes $15 million guaranteed, according to Ian Rapport, Tom Pelissero, and Mike Garafolo. And then let's go over to the Las Vegas Raiders. They were on the other end of the Crosby trade, but now they have one of the best pass rushers and run defenders in the entire NFL.
Mhm.
So, that's going to be exciting to see what he does on that team. But they signed fullback / tight end / running back Connor Hayward to a 2-year, $5.5 million deal with $2 million fully guaranteed. Let's see. Then they signed kicker Matt Gay to a free agent deal, according to Ian Rapport, Mike Garafolo, and Tom Pelissero. And I believe all the other ones we covered. So,
nice.
Shouts out to the Raiders. And then with the Chargers, they signed running back Keaton Mitchell to a 2-year, $9.25 million deal with $5 million fully guaranteed, according to Tom Pelissero. They also signed Trey Pipkins, the offensive lineman, to a 2-year, $10 million deal with a maximum value of $12 million, according to Tom Pelissero. Defensive tackle Tier Tart signed a 3-year extension worth up to $37.5 million, according to Ian Rapport. Dalvin Tomlinson, the defensive lineman, nose tackle, signed a 1-year, $7.5 million deal with $6 million fully guaranteed, according to Ian Rapport. And then linebacker Dean Leonard re-signed on a 1-year, $2 million deal, according to Tom Pelissero. Linebacker Denzel Perryman re-signed on a 1-year contract, according to Ian Rapport. And then linebacker Delshon Phillips re-signed on a 2-year, $7.5 million deal with a max value of $10.5 million, according to Tom Pelissero. And then long snapper Josh Harris re-signed with the team, according to the team.
And before we jump into the NFC East, if you guys have any opinions or anything like that, you guys make sure that you hit the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. Okay, make sure that you guys stay connected with us. Follow us at Top Dog Coverage on YouTube, X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Swipe up on Spotify and Apple. Leave a comment, hit the 5 stars, let us know. TopDogCoverage.com. And you can vote for your favorite team. Yeah, that's make sure that you vote for your favorite team too on there. And TopDogCoverage@gmail.com. Let us know all your football stories, or if you want to get shouted out if it's somebody's birthday on here, we have no problem doing that either. Okay, we want to
tell us who you hate. Who's your most hated team? Who's your bitter rival? Who do you want no success for? Like, let's talk about who wants to be the villain. Like, I want to talk about that too. Let me know. Who do you hate?
Something stirred up in C-Dub during tax season here, and we're still trying to figure that out. But yeah, in order to get some of this frustration out, send in those emails, and we're gonna find a way to get him through this season. So, again, TopDogCoverage@gmail.com. Tell us who you hate, and we'll put it right on here. So there you go.
But we'll hate them for you as well.
We'll hate them for you as well. Don't don't say the Jets or the Saints. Everybody already hates them, and that's our team. So it is what it. But if I have to, I'll push.
We'll shuck you up, man. So watch out.
All right, I'm gonna head over to the NFC East, where Sam Howell signed a 1-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys, and we've already gone over the main running back, wide receivers. Matt Hennessy signing a 1-year deal. The center, Sam Williams, defensive end, signing a 1-year, $3 million. Edge Rashawn Gary acquired in a trade with Green Bay Packers, exchanged for a 2027 4th-round pick. Defensive lineman Atito Agbonia signed a 1-year, $3 million contract. Kobe Durant signed a free agent deal. And both safeties, PJ Locke signed a 1-year deal for $5 million, and Jalen Topman signed a 3-year deal worth $36 million. And we went over Brandon Aubrey and his 2nd-round free agency tender. So we will head over to
Before you move on with the Cowboys, they also traded Osi Adugazue or whatever to the Niners for a 3rd-round pick.
I wish that was on here. I don't know why it's not updated. This is NFL.com too.
Maybe it's on the 49ers one, but I just felt like the Cowboys got a 3rd-round pick for one of their defensive tackles.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why there's 2 of us on the show. You pick up.
We'll probably cover it later, but we'll cover it later too, probably. But I just felt like it should be known if there's a Cowboys fan out there, you got a 3rd-round pick, so congrats.
That they deserve it. The New York Giants picked up a lot more Ravens. We could just say it like that, and some of their own as well. So Patrick Ricard. Yep, the New York Ravens. The fullback signed a 2-year, $7.63 million with a maximum value of 8.5. Wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins resigned. Gunner, we talked about him because we can't say his name. Resigned.
Energy.
Yep. And Evan Neal resigned with the Giants as well, along with Aaron Stinney resigning. We talked about Trey Edmonds, 3-year, $36 million, with $23.7 million fully guaranteed. Cornerback Greg Newsome II signed a 1-year, $8 million, $3 million guaranteed, according to Tom Pelissero. Darius Washington signed with the Giants. Jason Sanders, the kicker from Miami, signed with the Giants. And Jordan Stout, the punter, signed with the Giants. Philadelphia started making a couple more moves. And I could say that Grant Calcaterra, tight end, and Johnny Mund both signed with the Eagles. Calcaterra was a re-sign. Mund was a 1-year deal. We talked about Jordan Davis, defensive tackle, getting his extension.
Mm-hmm.
Linebacker Arnold Ebiketie signing a 1-year, $7.3 million deal with $4.3 million guaranteed. Both cornerbacks, Jonathan Jones, agreed to a 1-year deal, and we talked about Tariq Woolen. And punter Braden Mann re-signing a 4-year deal for the punter. So we will head down to Washington Commanders. I feel like the Eagles were a little bit
asleep.
Yeah, kind of. You know, it started off. I know that everybody starts off with a bang and everything like that, but they kind of let a couple people go. They didn't really make too many moves. They're staying quiet.
Maybe they're probably playing the compensatory pick formula. They're probably letting their guys go so they can get their picks back next year.
You could do
that they offset. So if you go out the gates and you sign a bunch of players, and even though you lose some, like you want to make sure. I don't know how the whole formula works. There's a whole science to it, but
there is a formula. But you can actually you can get up to 3rd round picks, which is absolutely amazing, depending on how much money is spent.
Right.
You could use,
but you have to lose. You have to lose high profile players, and not sign anybody until after
the money you don't spend has to be, you know what I mean? Yeah, it has to be a lot more money spent on the other side of who you lose. Yeah, that I don't know who came up with that formula, but somebody did.
Yeah,
I would like to meet that man or woman. Let's go with Rashad White, the running back, getting signed with the Commanders. Diami Brown signed a 1-year deal worth up to $3 million, and Treylon Burks resigned 1 year up to $4 million. Van Jefferson signed a free agent deal also with the Commanders. Chigoziem Okonkwo signed a 3-year contract worth up to $30 million. He was a very, very good tight end over at the Titans. We discussed Allegretti and Tunsil signing. Trent Scott and Andrew Wiley we discussed. Chason we discussed. Amanu we discussed. Awe we discussed. Detroit Wise re-signed a free agent deal. Defensive tackle Tim Settle signed a 3-year, $24 million deal worth up to $25.5 million. Leo Chanel signed a 3-year, $24.75 million deal. Linebacker coming from Kansas City over to Washington. And cornerback Amik Robertson signed a 2-year, $16 million deal with $9.3 million guaranteed. And we discussed safety Nick Cross signing a 2-year deal worth of $14 million. Punter Tressway and Jake Moody, the kicker. So looking like the NFC East was making some moves. They were moving and grooving.
All right, let's go from the NFC Beast to the NFC Least. NFC South.
Yeah, the NFC South.
Atlanta Falcons signed a bunch of players, but I'm going to cover. They signed edge rusher Azeez Ojulari to a 1-year contract, according to Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. Mm-hmm. They also signed defensive end Deshaun Hand to a 1-year, $3 million contract with according to Mike Garafolo. They also signed defensive tackle LaCale London. He re-signed with the team, according to the team. And defensive lineman Chris Williams signed a 1-year deal, also according to the team. And then punter Jake Bailey signed a free agent deal, according to the team. So now we'll go over to the Carolina Panthers, where I believe we covered it, but quarterback Kenny Pickett signed a 1-year, $4 million deal with a max value of $7.5 million, according to Tom Pelissero. Receiver John Mechie III signed with the Panthers, according to the team. Receiver David Moore re-signed with the Panthers as well. And then offensive tackle Rasheed Walker, the former Packer, signed a one-year deal with a max value of $10 million, including incentives, according to Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Cameron Wolfe. Center Luke Fortner signed a one-year deal worth to $4.75 million, according to Tom Pelissero. Linebacker Devin Lloyd signed with the Panthers on a 3-year, $45 million deal with $25 million fully guaranteed, according to Ian Rappaport, Mike Garafolo. Linebacker Isaiah Simmons re-signed with the Panthers, according to Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero. And I believe that covers all of the Panthers. And then I'm going to go to the Saints, where they signed tight end Noah Fant to a 2-year deal, according to Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. Offensive lineman Dylan Reduns re-signed on a 2-year deal, according to the team. Linebacker Caden Ellis signed a 3-year, $33 million deal with $23 million guaranteed and a max value of $39 million, according to Ian Rappaport. And that covers it for the New Orleans Saints. As for the Tampa Bay Bucks, quarterback Jake Browning signed a free agent contract, according to Tom Pelissero. Keefe signed with the Bucks, according to the team. Edge Al-Qaeden Muhammad signed a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million, according to Ian Rappaport. Ashawn Robinson signed a 1-year, $10 million fully guaranteed contract, according to Ian Rappaport. And safety Miles Killebrew signed a free agent deal, according to the team, which covers the NFC South for you lovely people.
From the NFC South, we will go right back up north to the NFC North, okay, where Case Keenum resigned a 2-year, $4.4 million deal, maximum of $8 million. Khalif Raymond signed a $5.1 million deal, wide receiver. Braxton Jones, I believe we talked about. Jordan McFadden, I think we talked about. And Jedrick Wills had a 1-year deal off offensive tackle, offensive guard, and offensive lineman. Jedrick Wills kind of does a little bit of both. The Garrett Bradbury center we discussed, and Contavious Street signed a free agent deal, the edge. Defensive end Daniel Hardy re-signed a 2-year contract. Neville Gallimore, we discussed the defensive line re-signing. Devin Bush, the linebacker, signed a 3-year deal, $30 million. We discussed DeMarco Jackson, linebacker, re-signed a 2-year, $7.5 million deal that has a maximum value of $10.5 million, according to Ian Rappaport. Cornerback Cam Lewis signing a free agent deal. Safety Kobe Bryant signed a 3-year, $40 million deal with $25.75 million guaranteed, according to Tom Pelissero. And Elijah Hicks, the safety, resigned on a 1-year contract. Moving over to Detroit Lions, the quarterback Teddy Bridgewater signed with the Lions. Isaiah Pacheco, coming over from Kansas City, signed a 1-year, $1.81 million deal. Tyler Conklin signed a 1-year deal. Cade Mays, we talked about, 3-year, $25 million deal, the center. Larry Borum, offensive tackle, signed a deal with the team. We discussed Juice Scruggs, the Houston Texas trade. And cornerback Rockison re-signing on a 1-year, $4 million deal. And safety Christian Izien, I should say, signed a 1-year deal. Moving on over to the Green Bay Packers. Wide receiver Sky Moore signed a free agent deal. Offensive line Sean Ryan, we discussed. Defensive line Javon Hargrave signed a 2-year, $23 million deal. And Zaire Franklin acquired in a trade with the Indianapolis Colts, we have discussed. Cornerback Benjamin St. Just signed a 2-year, $10 million deal with a maximum value of $10.5 million. We'll head right over to the cold spot again, Minnesota Vikings. Kyler Murray signed a 1-year deal, according to Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. Running back Aaron Jones signing a revised contract that lowers his base salary from $9 million to $5.5 million, keeping Jones in Minnesota for the 2026 season. Eric Wilson, 3-year, $22.5 million. That includes $12.5 million guaranteed. James Pierre, we discussed, the cornerback, getting 2-year, $8.5 million deal that includes $3.7 guaranteed and $2.5 million signing bonus. Safety Tavir Thomas re-signed with the Vikings, and Andrew DePola, the long snapper, also re-signing with the Vikings. So that's where we are with that.
It's lit. The North is lit.
Yep. It's getting there, man. Like they're trying to make some stuff happen over there. I do think Isaiah Pacheco over there might turn it up a notch. I think he might get revived over there playing indoors.
He's got to stay healthy. And he runs like the Tasmanian devil, so
that's gonna. He says he wants to be called Taz, right?
Yeah, he runs at the brick walls and stuff. Like he's like a Scatterbo, just a little faster. All right, we got one division left. See? You ready for the best of the West?
Sure. Lay it on me.
All right. I'll start with the Arizona Cardinals, and we'll talk about the best. So they did some stuff. They signed receiver Simi Fioco to a deal. They re-signed with the Cardinals, and according to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive guard Matt Pryor signed a 1-year deal, according to Mike Garafolo. Offensive guard Elijah Wilkinson signed a 2-year contract, according to the team. And he was a former Falcon and called them, I believe, a clown show up there. So shouts out to Elijah Wilkinson. Also, defensive lineman Jonah Williams signed to a 1-year deal, according to the team. And then I believe that covers all of the Cardinal action. The Los Angeles Rams, I believe we covered all this, but tight end Tyler Higbee re-signed on a 2-year deal worth up to $8 million, according to Tom Pelissero. Offensive tackle David Quisenberry re-signed on a 1-year contract, according to the team. Trent McDuffie was acquired in a trade with the Chiefs. We covered that. Cornerback Jalen Watson signed, the other Chiefs corner, and then re-signed Cameron Curl. And then long snapper Joe Cardona signed with the Rams as well, according to the team. So that covers all of them. And then the Niners. So we covered Mike Evans, a longtime Buck going over to the Niners. We covered Vidarian Lowe. Offensive tackle Brett Toth signed a 1-year deal with the team. Defensive lineman Kalia Davis agreed to terms on a 1-year deal worth up to $3 million, according to Mike Garafolo. And then defensive tackle Osa Adigawuze, acquired in a trade with the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick, according to Ian Rapport, Tom Pelissero, and Jane Slater. Linebacker Luke Gifford re-signed on a 2-year, $5.3 million contract, according to Tom Pelissero. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw came back on a 1-year, $7.5 million deal, according to Ian Rapport. Cornerback Nate Hobbs signed a 1-year deal worth up to $4.5 million, according to Tom Pelissero. John Weeks, the long snapper, re-signed on a 1-year contract. And then we covered kicker Eddie Pinerio re-signing. And then with the Seahawks, I believe we covered all of this outside of the running back Emmanuel Wilson signed a 1-year deal worth up to $2.1 million, according to Ian Rapport. And then safety Rodney Thomas signed with the Seahawks, according to Tom Pelissero.
Good old West, baby. The good
That's
old
it.
West. Not for nothing. A lot of different signings, a lot of different people going. Like there was a change. There was just a shift in everything last year, I think, when a lot of people went to a lot of different places and everything, and it's continuing right back over this year. You know, people just, and I think there's a shorter window now of different players going to different teams because they're not working out fast enough or they're not fitting the system fast enough. And I think that's what it's looking like. So
yeah. I mean, that's free agency, man. I think teams want to attack their needs pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you've seen a lot of just short-term contracts, a lot of 1-year, 2-year, 3-year deals. It was very rare to see 4 or 5 years. I don't think there's any 5-year deals that came about in this.
I have a surprise for you, C-Dub.
Okay.
We have somebody that's joining the show today.
Ooh.
He's very near and dear to our heart.
Santa?
Could be something. He acts like Santa to us. I'll tell you that. He definitely acts like Santa to us. And the birthday boy.
Hey,
fellas. How we doing?
That is
Can you guys hear me?
You.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
How
y'all doing,
buddy?
Thank you so much.
For everybody that's listening, it is our boy Michael Rizzo. He does so much work for us behind the scenes. Well, we can't do it. He does it. It is Michael Rizzo's birthday. So happy birthday, Michael Rizzo. You do so much for us, my friend. We are very, very proud to have you part of the team. And you're always working, man. You're always hard worker.
Always.
So.
Guys, it's such a pleasure. And to those that are watching the stream, I just want you to understand that these guys are probably the best bosses I've ever worked for. there is no one who I would go to war for more than Dirty and C-Dub. It's always a pleasure working for you guys.
And where can people find you, Michael Rizzo?
Yes, sir. You can find me at Michael Rizzo. I'm on every social media app. You can find me on YouTube's my main. Just search up Michael Rizzo. Instagram if you want to do that. TikTok if you want to do that. You'll see me. I'm there.
I like this. I like this a lot. And just for clarity, 21 years old all over again, right?
Yeah, feels like it. Feels like it, man.
We don't want to take too much of your time, Mike. I know you're out, you're about, and you're having fun with the family.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to get you on here, show you our appreciation, man. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful birthday.
I love you guys. Get back to it, and can't wait to edit it later.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
guys.
Happy birthday, brother.
Love y'all. Thanks so much, guys.
Later.
Bye.
There you go. The myth,
Love that guy.
the man, the legend, right there.
It's a real deal Holyfield right there.
It really is. It really is. That dude just look. He does everything for us. I mean, if you go look on our on our pages, okay, that's all his work, and that's
Absolutely.
If you guys want anything done too, you hire him, because I'll tell you what, you get more than your money's worth, and you'll get the subscribers and you'll get everything you need out of it. So, but I think that just about does it for us, my friend. And before we leave, what we're going to do is we're going to give a little bit of a happy birthday song just for Rizzo, and then we'll do our outro. But for your boy Dirty and C-Dub, we are out. So make sure that you follow Top Dog Coverage at YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Make sure that you guys follow us on Spotify and Apple. Swipe up at the 5 stars, leave the comments. topdogcoverage@gmail.com. If you guys want to tell us who your worst teams are, who you really just look,
Who you
remember,
hate?
C-Dub
Who you hate?
C-Dub is in tax season right now, okay? He's feeling it. He wants somebody to hate. Give him a reason to hate a team, all right? But also, make sure that you guys hit the subscribe button. Make sure that everything works out, okay? So with that, topdogcoverage.com. Go vote for your favorite team, and we will catch you on the flip side. Peace.